Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Points of Articulation. My name's Dave and if you're new to the channel, welcome. Today I'm looking at the Star Wars X-Wing 2nd Edition TIE LN Fighter Expansion Pack. Now the TIE Fighter was first seen in Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope. Now this seems to be the same mold as the TIE Fighter we received in X-Wing version 1.0. Now some details under close inspection look as though maybe they're not as prominent as before, but it could just be the paint covering up the mold. Now sadly on my TIE Fighter I do have a physical flaw. It is at the peg port on the bottom where the stand connects to the fighter itself. The fighter and the peg port are not glued together correctly, so my fighter looks like it's tilted facing me and the ground. Which, you know, I want to say it's not that bad, but you want to know what? For $15.99, it should be perfect. But having said all that, back to the model. The size of this bad boy, we're looking at 1¼ inches long, which is pretty good. And we do have a lot to cover. We're going to take a look at the dials and tokens, the cards, put on the stand, look at the mold and paint, compare it, and then we'll be done. So let's get moving. And now it's time for my favorite part of my videos, the dial token roll call. 1 upgraded maneuver dial, and I do like these dials quite a bit. 5 ship ID tokens, which are double-sided. 2 focus tokens. 2 evade tokens, 2 charge tokens, and finally 1 dial ID token. So that does it for all the dials and tokens, so now let's take a look at the cards. Alright, for the upgrade cards, like always, I'll read the name of the card, and if you'd like to pause the video to read the paragraph and look at the details, by all means, go right ahead and continue when you're done. First up, we have Crack Shot, Juke, Marksmanship, and Stealth Device. So that does it for the upgrade cards, so now let's take a look at the ship cards. For the ship cards, we have Delmico, Gideon Hask, Howlrunner, Mauler, Scourge, forgive me if I got this wrong, Sign Marana, Wampa, Academy Pilot, Black Squadron Ace, and finally, Obsidian Squadron Pilot. So that's all the ship cards, so finally let's take a look at the quick build cards. And here we have the quick build cards. Now apparently I was supposed to receive 3 of these in this expansion set, but I only have 2. So I guess I'm missing, I believe, the Mauler. So I might have to email Fantasy Flight Games to get another card or just buy it off eBay. So that does it for all the dials, tokens, and cards. So now let's take a quick look at the stand and that beautiful mold. Now just like all the X-Wing ships, it comes with a cool base, 2 pegs that peg into 1. Attach it like so. Grab your fighter, be easy. These are fragile. And you're good to go. And now it's time to go over the mold of the TIE Fighter. Like always, I will go over the main sections of the ship, and then we'll have a nice closer look to see all the fine details. Now, if you've been watching my channel, you should know I have done hundreds of TIE Fighters. Well, maybe not that much, but we should all be pros at this by now. Solar Array Winds, Wing Brace, our pylons, laser cannons, transparent steel viewport. On the top, our cockpit hatch. In the back, ion engines. All in all, very nicely detailed ship. So now let's get a close-up and see what this baby really has to offer. Alright, let's start looking off on the wing. And we can see tons of the solar panels here. Our wing braces. Very nicely done. I think that came out great. Lots of little doodads on here. Amazing stuff. And this wing is the same. For the most part. The only difference might be a little paint here and there. But magnificent stuff. For the interiors, we have the brace right here. And for the most part, the same exact design as the exterior. Pretty nice. Again, look at all that detail on that brace. Amazing. And it continues all the way to the back. We have our pylon. Pretty cool. Lots of intricate shapes in there. Checking out the top, the front, and the bottom. And it's the same on both sides. There's not much difference at all. But very cool. I think they came out great. Now before we get to the main cockpit, underneath you can see my peg for the stand and how it's not glued in right at all. And it's actually crooked. Ugh. I actually tried to rip it out, but it's in there pretty good. And if you have a ship that is a little bent or something, Do not heat it up with a hairdryer. I tried that with one of my X-Wings, and it shrivels up and melts. It is nasty. So unless you know what you're doing with the plastic, don't attempt it. But moving on, we have our ion engines, and I love the design here. That is amazing stuff. Pretty cool. On the top, we have our cockpit hatch, molded pretty well. And then we have the front of the ship with our transparent steel viewport. The windows are recessed, which is nice. Then we have two ray sections, which are colored orange, and those are the laser cannons. All in all, a fantastic looking ship. All in all, besides a little mishap with the peg right here, I have to say I'm pretty happy with the TIE Fighter. It has a lot of nice little details, especially on the wings and the main body. Just a great mold and an awesome little ship. I'm a huge fan of TIE Fighters. So now, let's take a look at the paint. For the paint of the TIE Fighter, what we have here is the shade of blue for the main color, made famous during and after The Empire Strikes Back. Before that, TIE Fighters were like a grayish white. Pretty cool. We have black for our solar array panels. Very nice, very clean. Interiors and exteriors are painted. Pretty sharp. For the transparent steel viewport, we have glossy black, as well as gray for the supports. Pretty cool, and that glossy black is also on the cockpit hatch at the top. And then in the front, we have these two orange circles. Those are the laser cannons. And finally, we have black wash over everything. And it really makes all the details pop on here. Pretty nice. I always love black wash. I don't know why. Any wash is good. It just helps the model, makes all the little hidden details pop, and it adds a little realism to it. So that does it for the mold and the paint. So now let's put this baby back on the stand compared to some other ships, and then we'll be done. And now for a size comparison with the second edition TIE LM fighter, which we could see on our right hand side. Moving left, we have the original TIE fighter, Sabine Wren's TIE fighter, and finally on the left right here, we have the TIE fighter that came with the Imperial Assault Carrier, so that's pretty awesome. And that does it today for my review of the Star Wars X-Wing 2nd Edition TIE LN Fighter Expansion Pack. Again, the TIE Fighter was first seen in Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope, and for this model size, it's 1¼ inches long, which is pretty good. You gotta keep in mind, all the little fighters are to scale, which is awesome. Is this ship worth it? If you are planning on playing X-Wing 2nd Edition, I fully recommend it. You get some great accessories, new pilots that you can add to your squad, and then dealing with the fighter itself, the mold is pretty good. As I said before, I'm not going to beat a dead horse. The only major issue I have with my particular TIE Fighter is the misglued peg on the bottom. Paint-wise, every color that's there should be, and I love that they went with blue. Yes, we got some blue ties with the Imperial Carrier. However, now they are a staple, and I love that. The blue ties are awesome. Besides that blue, though, you do get the glossy black and gray and orange for the laser cannons. Oh, it's awesome. Now, if you're looking to buy this bad boy, you're looking at about $14.99 to $15.99, depending on where you shop. So that's everything I have to say today about the 2nd Edition TIE Fighter. I hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, hit that like button. And if you'd like to see new reviews every Thursday, subscribe. Again, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.